Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to cover the object property flags and the descriptors, which are related to writable, immutable, and configurable, the flags of a property. Okay. Next slides. So when we define a property inside an object, we will have a default one is a value. Suppose we have a person and have first name John. John gonna become the value of the property. And besides that, besides value, it also have three special attributes. Normally we call them flags, which are writable, immutable, and configurable. Okay, and by default, when we define a property in an object, all of them are true. Okay, so if it's writable and it's true, it means the value can be changed, but otherwise it can only it's only read only. And for immutable, and if it's true, it's gonna be listed in the loops, otherwise not listed. Okay. And for configurable, if true, the property can be deleted and those attributes can be modified. Otherwise, it cannot be deleted and attributes cannot be modified. Okay, so let's take a look at first let's take a look at how to get the property descriptors. Okay, because if we directly use we define an object, by default you only get the values. Okay, so now first let's take a look at if we want to get the property descriptor of a property in an object. How to do? You use the object dot get on property, then you pass what's the object instance itself, then you pass a property name, and then you will return the descriptor. Now let me show you this demo. Okay, first go here. I will create a new, which is object property flags.html. Okay, and HTML5, and here I can add a script. Okay, here let's define an object. Suppose I have an object called a person. Person will have two property. One is the first name. I will call John. The other one is the last name. Let's call Smith. Okay. And for the John and Smith, they are actually the value of the property first name. If we want to get the full, we can use object, which is the class object. Get on property descriptor. And you give the person, which is the object, and suppose I want to get the first name, this property, and it will give you the descriptor. And then let's console log. Okay, log descriptor. Okay, and now with open in the browser. Let me quit this one. Let me quit this one first. Okay, then I will reopen. Okay. Open in default live browser is also fine. Okay, wait for a second. It's loading. Okay, now it's opened, and I have to open the inspect and the console, and you will see here. Okay, yes. Okay, you will see here the value. See here, what's the thing? Let me open like this way. I will use the other one is this one. Yeah, cannot do it. So I will do like this way again. Wait me for a second. Left should have this one. Okay, so here we have the right side is the console. Okay, so here when we get the descriptor, And you can see here, besides the value gonna be John. This is default. When we give John to the first name, it actually is for the value, okay? The value of the property first name is John, but and it has a 3, not hidden, just didn't show regular. When we just do regular code, it doesn't show you those flags: configurable, enumerable, and writable. Okay, then it show you. And now, when we use object.getOnProperty descriptor, you actually can get all of them. By default, all of them are true. When all of them are true, it means you can do what? Suppose for the writable, okay, for the writable, which means for the first name, you can change it to another one. First name, person dot first name. Suppose I call Tina, and then we console CLG console log person. You can see the first name now become Tina, okay. And for immutable, it means suppose I use for let property in, okay, person, and then I can do is console.log prop. Okay, I can do like this way. prop. Okay, and then I can do this way, which is a person dot cannot use this one, prop. Okay, now let's take a look at. You have first name Tina, last name is Smith. This is because immutable, because our immutable is true. And last one is suppose I want to delete the property, which is a person dot first name. Okay, you can still delete. We can console log the person again, and you will see it only has have a last name Smith here. And this one is because so here we have 3 demos here. Person dot first name equal Tina. This is because our writable is true. Okay, our writable is true. Okay, and when we use a for in, we can do is because our enumerable is true. And delete this person is because our configurable is true. Okay, so because of all of them are true, so you can do those operations. But now, if you'd like to have a change, what you can do is, what thing I do? You can use object.define properties to change the flags. Okay, the syntax like object class have a defined property. You can give the object, and you can have the property name. Then you can have the descriptor. Okay, and if the property already exists, then define property will update its flags. Otherwise, it creates the property with a given value and flags. And if the flag not supplied, it assumes it's a false. So now we can try some demos. Okay, suppose now this is getting my own property, right? Descriptor, right? So here we can change it. Okay, and see one by one. Okay, let's give another demo. Okay, flag 1. Let me change this one to be flag 1. I don't want to ruin the demos. Flag 1. I will copy paste, and this one use flag 2. Okay, and now I'm going to because my laptop can change it from here to here. So here I'm going to do is here I will have a const person equals empty object. Okay, and first I will test this case, which define property is the flag doesn't this property doesn't exist. Then it will create the property with a given value and flags, and if flag doesn't supply, they're gonna be false. So let's see this case. Okay, person. So for this person, it's an empty object. I don't have any property. I will define one called first name. Okay, we'll use object.define property. Okay, And here you can give the object you want to define this property, okay? And then the property name is called the first name. And then you have to give values to them. So the value is John, if you do like this way, okay? And then suppose this one we use writable, we give a false, okay? And now let's take a look at what's going to happen. So now I have a console CLG person, okay? In this case, I will do a person. I will have flag2.html. And you guys see here, it will have a first name is John. Okay, now let's take a look at the property descriptor object. Okay, I just do like this way. Okay, console.log object dot get on property descriptor. Then I'll have a person. Then I have the first name. Okay, and you can see here. Because here I have value John, which is value John configured here. Writable is false, is because I define writable here false because I make this one to be false, right? And all other two by default is false because I didn't list it inside the defined property. So default they are all false. So now let's test when writable is false, okay? So I cannot change person dot first name. Suppose I want to change to be Tina. Okay, and then we console log a person. Yeah. Console log a person. And see here, you can still see first name is John, but then give you the error thrown. And if you turn on use strict mode, and when you trying to change the name for the first name, you will get an error. Cannot assign read-only property first name of the object. This is if you use strict mode, you will get this error. But if we don't use strict mode, you just get the original value, then you have any error, and this one is then applied, okay? And now if we change this one to be true, then you can get this one first name is Tina being changed, okay? That is writable. Now let's see the immutable, okay? So now I will do is for let prop in person, and then I will console CLG console log the same as the previous one, which is prop, which is a property, and then we'll get the value person and use a square bracket prop. And now see here, after this first name John, which is printed from line 20, and in the property of the person, when I try to print, you will get nothing here, okay? The reason is because even though here I don't have enumerable, by default it's a false, and when it's false it doesn't list inside the loop, okay? And if now I make this enumerable to be true, you will see first name John is being printed, because when you make it immutable to be true, you can in the for loop here, for in loop here, you will get the property. That's enumerable. Last one is what thing? Last one is configurable. Suppose I will do the same operation. Person dot first name. Okay, I will try to delete this one, and then I console log a person again. I always use the control this one. And now you take a look at after I display first name and I delete a personal first name, you will see here you didn't delete it. The reason is because why? The reason is because configurable by default is false when we use a defined property. Okay, and let me turn off this one. Okay. Then I will use the use strict mode and see what's going to happen. See here, when I use strict mode and I'm trying to delete something which is delete a property which is not configurable, you will get this value error. Cannot delete property first name because it's not configurable. in a strict mode, you will see the error. If it's not in non-strict mode, you see nothing. Okay. Now I have a configurable, make this one to be true. And now you will see at the end, after I delete the person got a first name, you will see it's become empty object. So it's better in the project or in the real application, you turn on use strict. Otherwise, you don't know what happened, right? And those are the writable, immutable, and configurable done. Okay. So if you want to change them, then you use the object.define property. Okay. This is one. And let's test another one. Suppose here I have a last name, which is Smith, and this configurable, this last name by default, all the writable and immutable and configurable, all of them are true. Okay, all of them are true. And let's see. Okay, suppose I do like this here. I have console log object dot get on property descriptor, and I give person. Then here I give last name. Okay, here I'm going to test for. This one have a separator here. Okay, I'm going to have a separator. Okay, let me make it. So here I know all the console log is from the first one. Okay, person last name, you will get a value Smith, writable, immutable, configurable, true. And now we can also use object dot define property. This one is for only one. Okay, then I will use the person, then I will do the for the last name, and here if I change the value to be supposed to be my last name Xing. Okay, then I have a writable equals false, and once you do that, then the value is going to change from Smith, and the writable is gonna change to false, but the other two it won't change. Okay, so want to change, just override whatever you have listed here. So let's take a look at the beginning. You will have value Smith, writable true, enumerable is true, and configurable true. And after I use object define property, okay, this one method to do, then here your value is being changed because I have value changed. Okay, and the writable become false because I listed here writable become false, and all the other two enumerable and configurable I didn't touch, so it won't be changed. Okay, that is the define property is doing here. Okay, this is one. Now let's take a look at the second one. You can also use object.define properties. Define this method is define property. You see here is a singular, only define one. And if you want to define multiple at the same time, you can do is using object.define properties. Okay, it allows to define many properties at once. So let's do a simple test. Okay, here I will create another one. And make this one to be 3. Okay, then I will delete all the code. Okay, let me see the syntax again. Okay, let's like this way. Okay, now let's go back. And how to do? Suppose here I also have a person equals an empty object. Then you can use object.define properties. Okay, and for this person, I want to define bunch of the property. The first one is the first name. Okay, first name. Then you define the property which has a value is John, and you can have a writable is true. Okay, and then I can have another which last name is also another property. And I can have value is Smith, and I can have enumerable is true, suppose. Okay, and configurable is true. Okay, so now let's test. Let's take a look at what's going to be. First, let's console log the person, and and this one won't have any special things. You will see, just to see, a person will have first name John, last name Smith, right? So flag 3, you have John Smith, and those flags like enumerable and writable, configurable, it's not seen here. And if you want to get how to do, you do the same thing, okay? Like object dot get on property. You can also using get on properties. Okay, here this method, you put a user. Let's see if it will print. Okay, or not user person. Okay, and you will see here the difference here. And if we directly console log a person, you will only get the values. But if we use get on property descriptors, and which are Perl, it will list everything like a first name. You will see it has a value John and have writable, enumerable, and configurable. Because I configured the writable is true, and all other two is gonna be by default gonna be false. And last name you will have configurable, enumerable is true, and writable is a false. Okay. So this is how you use define properties. You can define multiple properties at the same time. This is one. Okay, next one. I already showed you guys. Okay, with object dot get on property descriptors, you can get all property descriptors at once. That's what we did, right? And also you can use get on property descriptors and object dot define properties, which is this Perl one, as to clone object. The problem when we clone object is what? Suppose here we are using for this method to clone object. When you clone the object like this way, it won't clone for what? It won't clone for those flags, okay? And suppose it has flags like writable and enumerable config. You cannot get it. Now let me show you this example, okay? This one, okay? How can I do? Let me write another one. Write one more, okay? Control C, Control V. Rename for. Suppose now we want to clone object, okay? This object I was using this. I can use. I'll continue on the 3, okay? Because I'm going to use the same one. Let me delete. Okay. I'm going to continue use this one is 3. This one is 4. I delete this one. Okay, it's using this one. Suppose I'm going to make a clone for this person. How to do it? You can do it like this way, okay? I'll comment this too, okay? What we can do is have an object which is a clone equals this one. Then we can for let prop in what thing? Person, okay? Then we can use the clone. See prop equals person prop, which is I assign each prop. I get the value from the person and then assign to the clone object. And now console log clone. You will have wait, why only have last name? I also have a first name here. I should have 2, right? Have first name, last name. Right? Why this one only has because I make this one enumerable is false, so it doesn't show here. Okay, I'll make this enumerable equals true again, so it's listed in the for loop. Okay. Okay, now you will have we have first name and last name, right? But for this one, it's going to have problem because here we know this one have This one will have the configurable, which is a false, and this one have a writable, which is a false, right? But with the cloned object, you will see all of them gonna become true. Let's take a look at, okay? I will have a console log object dot get on property descriptors. Then I have a clone. You will see here. You will see for the John, you will have a configurable, enumerable, and writable. All of them are true. But from my person, my flag are writable and it's true. Enumerable is true, but configurable should be false. But in my cloned object, you will have true. Second one, for the Smith, it is enumerable and configurable true. And the second one, last name, we'll have enumerable and configurable true, but writable is also true in the cloned object. But in my original object person, the writable is a false, right? So that's a problem if we're using just a for in to do a clone, okay? You're gonna have this problem because the flags are not copied. And another way to do the clone, you can do like this way. You can use define the properties, okay? And which is a clone. I will comment this one first, okay? And then you give the descriptors for that. How to do? You use object dot get on property descriptors, and you call what's thing person. Okay. Then after we do, yes, we can console log this clone and these two, okay? Console log this clone and console log this get on properties clone. And now let's format first, okay? Let's take a look at the difference now, okay? So here, when I console log the clone, you will still have a first name John, last name is Smith, no problem. And let's take a look at the on property descriptors of the clone object. You will see it's going to be the same as, see here, it's going to be the same as a person, right? So person John, first name John, writable true, enumerable true, configurable false. So in the cloned object, first name you have configurable false, enumerable true, John, and true, right? Same. And same for last name. We'll have a configurable, enumerable true, and a value Smith, and writable is false. And in the person, it's also writable is false. So with the combination of two methods, object.define properties and object.get on property descriptors, you can clone an object and with also their flags being cloned. Okay, this is one. This is the difference between clone object using this way or using the for in by yourself, okay? Because for loop doesn't copy the flags. And another difference is that in for in it will ignore symbolic and non-enumerable properties because the properties enumerable. Suppose I make this one to be not enumerable, and then in my for in cloned object, I will remove this one, okay? In my for in loop cloned object, you won't have first name because for in, when it's not enumerable, then for in cannot get the property first name. Okay, this is another problem, okay? So if you want to really have a cloned object, the better one is to use object-defined properties combined with object.get-on property descriptors, which is the one we demoed just now, because it's more accurate. Okay, suppose you have some properties inside the original one which has enumerable set as false, then for in doesn't get it. Okay. Let me see my slides. That's it for this video, and I just cover the three property flags: writable, enumerable, and configurable. Hope you like this video, and see you next time. Bye bye.